Hello students, today we'll study the chapter The Silk Road. This is from your class 11 syllabus and it is written by Nick Middleton. This is from your book Hornbill. Now it is a little boring chapter, so I took a little time to make this video, but I'm going to try to make it a little interesting for you. So this is a little difficult also chapter, so I would like to make it very simplified form for you. So this coming to the introduction of this chapter, the story is written by Nick Middleton. It is about the narrator's journey from the slopes of Rabu to Mount Kailash because he wanted to complete the Kora. Kora means pilgrimage of Mount Kailash. जैसे परिक्रमा करते हैं ना Mount Kailash की. The main aim of his journey was mostly religious. We see that the author wishes to complete the journey to Mount Kailash. Thus, in order to embark on this pilgrimage, he hires a driver by the name of Shaitan and takes along Daniel as an acquaintance to chaperone him to Darchen. Consequently, we learn about his journey and his experience through the Silk Road. He mentions how the people in hilly areas are rather sensitive. The author goes on to witness the beauty of the Lake Mansarovar and Darchen. Then he talks about his chance encounter with Nabu, whom he takes on as a partner to complete his pilgrimage. Now coming to the detailed explanation, as the protagonist, the author, was heading towards Mount Kailash to complete the Kora. Kora is the pilgrimage in Tibetan language. In the morning, he witnessed a beautiful half moon in the blue sky. The clouds look like French bread with glowing pink because of the sun which spread. Early morning का sun होता है ना, हल्की सी reddishness there. There was a pinkish color in the sky because of the sun which spread its splash of rays on the mountain slopes. So Rabu and Lamo wanted to give him a farewell gift. She gave him a long-sleeved sheepskin coat to protect him from cold and to keep him warm. So Shaitan looked at him attentively while he climbed into his car. So Shaitan is the name of his driver. Now they took a shortcut to reach early. His driver knew the short route which took them to the southwest towards the Mount Kailash. They had to pass high mountain passes. Shaitan told him that they can reach the destination only if there is no snow, and they can't know that until they'll reach there. Because the weather can change anytime. So he was hoping that they'll be reaching safely if there is no snow. So the route was filled with open plains in Rabu where gazelles, that is the antelopes, were eating grass. As they moved forward, a large group of wild asses appeared. Shaitan pointed out a huge pile of dust, which he called kyang in his local language. So kyang क्या होता है? Huge pile of dust. When they drew nearer to the destination, they could see a large group of animals progressing in a fast and uncontrollable manner, like they were doing military exercises. So बहुत तेज भाग के आ रहे थे, तो इस वजह से trails of dust filled the entire air. As they moved past the rocky area, they came across shepherds. Both men and women stared at their car, and some also waved at them as they moved closer to the animals. So actually the hilly people are very friendly in nature. So they were really excited to see a car. वहाँ पे आती नहीं है ज़्यादा ना, so they were happy to see the car and they waved at them. As they moved closer to the animals, the sheep would take a slippery path and would suddenly move into another direction away from the car in order to give way. Side में हो जाती थी so that to give way to the. They also witnessed nomad tents, which were dark in complete isolation, and big black Tibetan dog called mastiffs. बड़े बड़े dogs होते हैं बिल्कुल इतने बड़े बड़े ऐसे dog तो कह ही नहीं सकते ऐसे लगता है कि शेर की तरह बड़े. They fixed their gaze and they were like they were used as guard dogs. They fixed their gaze on the approaching car and ran behind it as a bullet fired from a gun. These bushy creatures were blacker than the normal black color. They wore a bright red collar, एक बड़ा सा red collar, and they barked angrily at them with big jaws. Those dogs were fearless and were running towards their car, causing Shaitan to apply brakes and change direction suddenly. The dogs ran after them for 100 meters more and then stopped to watch them go away. These Tibetan mastiffs became popular in China's royal courts as hunting dogs. लोग as gifts लेके जाते थे royal courts में hunting dogs because उसको इनको देख के ही डर जाएगा. They were brought along the Silk Route as a tribute in ancient time from Tibet. As they crossed the area with bushy Tibetan dogs, they started witnessing snow-capped mountains. पूरा स्नो से कवर्ड था सब जगह. They entered the valley which was covered with wide river covered with ice which was white and shiny in the sun. The driver Setan was driving in the third gear as the turns were sharper and the ride was bumpy. Have you been to the hill station? The ride is very scary. So then they moved from the road which ran along the icy river. The narrator felt a pressure on his ears because as बोलते हैं ना प्रेशर इज इक्वल टू टाइम. तो टाइम जैसे टेम्परेचर से रिलेटेड होता है, तो प्रेशर की वजह से उसके he felt a pressure on his ears. बहुत ज़्यादा बिल्ड हो रहा था. He held his nose and snorted in order to clear them. ऐसे बोलते हैं, ऐसे nose ऐसे जोर की करो so that you can breathe clearly so that your ears are also fine. A sharp turn came again and Satan stopped the car and jumped out of his seat. And आगे बिल्कुल snowy snow थी. A long track of snow was in front of them which was about 15 meters long before it diminished and the normal dirty track appeared again. The snow was on both sides of them and it was difficult to move the vehicle in that condition. The protagonist joined Daniel as Satan tried to cover the snow with sand so that the car could move over it. तो उन्होंने क्या डिसाइड किया? Let us cover it with sand. ताकि sand होगी तो आराम से कार लेके चले जाएंगे. So the narrator saw his wristwatch. They covered 5210 meters above sea level. As they drove back the car, the narrator checked his watch again. While he was climbing the mountain in the bright sunlight, they moved up to 5400 meters height and his head began to pulsate again. He had a few sips of water and from his bottle which helped him to climb the slope. They reached at 5515 meters and a large pile of stone was decorated with white silk scarves and some dirty prayer flags. This is an actual picture of that stone. They took a turn around the stone in clockwise direction as in tradition of the driver checked the tires of his vehicle. तो क्या होता है, ये एक tomb है, एक pilgrimage tomb है. लोग उस पे white scarves चढ़ाते हैं, जैसे हम लोग धागा वगा मानते हैं ना, या फिर लाल चुन्नी चढ़ाते हैं, तो वैसे ये लोग scarves वगैरह और prayer flags चढ़ाते हैं और उसके आसपास ऐसे चक्कर लगाते हैं. So they took a turn around the stone in clockwise direction and the driver checked the tires on the vehicle. He stopped at the petrol tank and unscrewed his top, which made a loud hiss noise as the pressure was making the fuel expand. The driver told him maybe it's dangerous, but told him not to smoke around there. It was 2 o'clock when they stopped for lunch at a long canvas tent beside the dry salt lake. They had hot noodles, the platter was disfigured, and the lake was filled with salty water and thatched roof covered with snow. By the late afternoon, they reached Hor town, which was an old route from Lhasa to Kashmir. Daniel found a ride as he was on his way back to Lhasa, both of them with farewell at a tire repair shop. Their car suffered 2 punctures on the way from the Salt Lake, so Satan was eager to get them fixed. They had no spare tire left. Now, Hor was an ugly and miserable place which had no vegetation and just dust and rocks. It is scattered with gathered refuse and it was on the shore of Lake Mansarovar, which is Tibet's most sacred water. कहने को Lake Mansarovar को कितना हम पूजा करते हैं, उसकी इतनी sacred मानी जाती है, and it is such a dirty place because we as pilgrims spoil it and litter it totally. So according to ancient Hindu and Buddhist cosmologists, it is considered the origin of 4 Indian rivers, Indus, Ganges, Satluj and Brahmaputra. In actuality, only Satluj river flows from this lake and the other 3 rivers rise from the sides of Mount Kailash. So the narrator waited for Satan while having some tea at Hor's Cafe, which was constructed badly from painted concrete and 3 broken windows, although it had a good view of the lake. The narrator in the cafe was served by a Chinese boy who was wearing a military uniform. He spread the grease around his table with a dirty cloth and brought him a glass and a thermos of tea. The protagonist's experience was contrary to what he had read on the traveller's first encounters of the town. There was a Japanese monk by the name of Ikai Kawaguchi. This is his picture. who arrived in the town in 1900. He was so moved with the purity of the lake that he started crying. After a few years, a similar effect was there on Sven Hedin, a Swedish person, who also experienced such an emotional outburst. So they were so enamored by the beauty of the place कि उनकी आंखों से आंसू निकलने लगे. But the narrator was not feeling good also. He was feeling bad seeing the condition of the place. When they resumed their journey from Hor, it was dark. After 10:30 p.m., they decided to stay in a guest house in Darchen. It turned out to be a difficult night for him. The rubbish dump in Hor made his cold worse, and the herbal tea also did not help him. One of his nostrils was blocked as he lay on the bed. He wasn't getting sufficient oxygen, and he checked his watch. He was at 4760 meters above sea level. The height was not more than Ravu, but he was out of breath several times at night. He was so familiar to these nighttime disturbances, but he was scared this time. He was thinking that if I'm going to sleep, I might die. He started breathing from his mouth. He was tired and hungry. He switched back to breathing from single nostrils, and so as soon as he was about to sleep, he would wake up shortly. He was not feeling well as his chest felt heavy. He sat up and he cleared the nasal passages. He was furious. He tried again by laying back on the bed. The same thing happened. He wasn't able to go to sleep this time. When he was sitting up, it made him feel better as he could breathe properly and his chest felt light. बैठो तो ठीक है, लेटो तो फिर गड़बड़ हो जाती थी. He was afraid to sleep now. A voice inside him told him that he might die if he would try to sleep, so he stayed awake the entire night. Setan took him to Darchen Medical College. The next morning, it was new and looked like a monastery with a door which led to a large courtyard. So the college did not look like a college at all. It looked more like a monastery. A Tibetan doctor who was wearing a thick pullover, doctor के कपड़े नहीं पहना हुआ था, he was wearing a pullover and a woolly hat, asked him a few questions while checking his pulse. He told the driver that it is cold and he had an effect due to cold and the altitude change. He gave him some medicines and reassured him that he will be able to do the Kora. The Tibetan doctor gave him a 5-day course. After having breakfast, he opened the after breakfast package, which had a brown powder which he had to take with hot water. It tasted like cinnamon, and the lunchtime and bedtime packages were nearly the same. They looked like sheep dung, जैसे उनकी potty होती है ना वैसे लग रहा था. Both had small spherical brown packages. After taking the full day medicine, he slept peacefully that night. Sesan left him in Darchen when he came to know that he is going to be fine. Darchen had some basic general stores selling Chinese soaps, cigarettes, and strings of bags. Every afternoon, men would gather for a game of pool. They would sit around a shabby table in open air, while women washed their hair in iced water on a small stream with flowers nearby. होता है ना pool table से pool खेलते हैं लोग मजे से आराम से enjoy कर रहे हैं hilly people. And this shows the characteristic of Setan. He did not leave him till the time he was assured that the narrator is absolutely fine. So such a caring person he was. Darchen had no pilgrimage, which was a setback for him. He was told that the peak season of pilgrimage, this town was filled with visitors. Some brought their own accommodations, such as tents, which were set up in plains. So since he was a little early, abhi pilgrimage season nahi start hua tha, so he was the only pilgrimage there. So he did not have anybody to accompany him. So narrator felt that he had arrived at that place a way too early. He was having difficulty in sleeping, which hadn't made it easy for him. He had no option other than to wait until the peak season of pilgrimage arrived. He could do Kora alone, but it was a seasonal session because of the route blockage by snow. He had no idea if the snow was cleared. He had been facing communication problems since Setan left. No one in Darchen knew English, but that's why he could not communicate with anybody. One day, he met Nobu in a cafe while reading an English novel. That cafe had only one window, which he could take so that he could see his notebook clearly, and he would also bring a novel with him to pass time. Nobu saw his book and asked if he could sit opposite him. Usne dekha he is reading English, so he understood this person understands English. So he told him that he was English. The narrator guessed that he must not be a local, as he was wearing a wind cheater and metal ribbed spectacles, which were of Western style. Nobu was a Tibetan who was worked in Beijing at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences in the Institute of Ethnic Literature. Nobu told him that he had come here to do the Kora. The protagonist was happy to hear that. Nobu was writing academic papers on the Kailash Kora and its importance in various Buddhist literature works. He had never done the Kora himself. Nobu was also excited when he got to know that the narrator too was in Tachin to do the Kora. He suggested they could be a team. Nobu was also staying at a guest house just like him, and Nobu was as ill-equipped like him. Nobu kept telling him that he was too dull, boring, and tired to work, and he was fat. Nobu was not a practicing Buddhist, but he was an enthusiast. Originally, the protagonist predicted that the trek could be good in a company of any deep believer, but he found Nobu to be an ideal partner. They decided to hire some yaks to carry their luggage, and he had no intention of lying down flat all over the mountain. Nobu finally said it is not possible for him while he collapsed across the table, laughing hilariously. His tummy was too big. So initially उसने सोचा था किसी devout believer in God के साथ करूँगा. But then he found Nobu is an interesting man. मोटू तगड़ू है, अच्छा गोलू मटोलू. और he was not ready. Generally लेट के करते हैं लोग कोरा. So this person was said, we'll hire yaks. मेरे बस का नहीं है लेटना वेटना. And he enjoyed thoroughly and completed the Kora along with Nobu. So I hope you understood the chapter. I know it is a little boring, but still I tried my level best to make it interesting for you, brought special pictures for you. If you like this video, do like, share or subscribe. Thank you. Happy learning.